Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, everyone who all are joining in and who may join late in this event or webinar. This is Himanshi Kaushik, your host of the day, and I would like to welcome you all in today's webinar on unleashing the power of data science and its application in the industry. And I hope that you all are doing fine, safe, sound, and happy at wherever you're taking this webinar from. So before we move on and learn a lot more about the data science very specifically in the webinar today, we have our experts here with us. So I would like to request Samnish sir to kindly introduce us and all the attendees, of course, with our expert.
Thank you, Himanshi. So very good morning to all of you. I'm delighting you to welcome all over here in this exciting webinar on unleashing the power of data science and its applications in industry. So in the rapid evolving digital age, data has become the lifeline of our modern work. In every second, an astonishing amount of data is generated, and the exponential growth poses both challenges and opportunities for the learners as well as for experts. Now, data science is an interdisciplinary field that combines statistic analysis, machine learning, domain expertise to extract insights from various amount of data, and while leveraging advanced analytics techniques, scientists can uncover the hidden patterns, making predictions and make informed decisions, which can help organizations to gain competitive edge and drive innovation. So, without further delay, let's embark upon this journey into the fascinating world of data science and its application in industry with Mr. Saurabh Kango, who is a data science professional with more than 7 years of experience in data science domain. Plus, he's having a strong business acumen. Currently, he's working with LinkedIn as analytics and program manager. Previously, he was working with Airbnb to enhance their customer value proposition and improve customer acquisition and engagement. So, without further delays, ladies and gentlemen, let me present you Mr. Saurabh Kango from LinkedIn.
Thank you, sir, for that wonderful introduction. And thank you, Himanshi, for having me here. It's a pleasure to talk to the students, share some of my knowledge, and also talk about how data science has been used in the industry and how you can find opportunity to become one. What are the skill set that is required to become a good data scientist? What is the present? What is the past? What is the future that is looking like? And where does it stand? We are at a very important stage where I'm sure everyone is hearing about AI, which is nothing but the base of data science. How is it going to turn out to be? What are opportunities that we'll be getting? So we'll be discussing everything in our session today. So hi everyone, welcome all. My name is Saurabh. I'm currently working with LinkedIn as Analytics Program Manager. I have about 8 years of work in this domain. I started off my career working with Walmart through Mu Sigma. Here, I was part of their supply chain team. I have also worked in their procurement team. I have worked with their customer analytics team. So in that first 4 years of my career, I got an opportunity to do work with every domain in the retail, be it supply chain, be it retail analytics, be it e-commerce, and to work with Walmart, which is like one of the biggest companies, in fact, the biggest company in the world with the revenues of about $512 billion. It was an amazing experience to learn how data can really change around any decision that a company makes. Okay, so that was my first 4 years. After that, I joined Airbnb. Airbnb happened on a very odd time. I joined Airbnb in March of 2020. So to be in a travel-based company when it is COVID, when the COVID pandemic was going on, it was altogether a different experience. And that too, on that side, we had amazing, learning experience where even though the bookings were not made, even if the company was not really working, we still, we were still able to use data for decision making. And because of that, I think Airbnb was able to make some amazing progress, and they were able to recover faster than any other company in the travel segment because of the data that they harnessed during the time of the COVID. Post Airbnb, currently I'm working with LinkedIn. It's one of the social networking site. I'm sure all of you are pretty active there. Here I'm working with amazing, tech companies wherein we try to help them with their talent needs. And to help them with their talent needs, we are again using lots of data every day so that they can find the right talent at the right time, at the right place, in the right environment. So, this is the kind of a work that I've been doing. So in, in 8 years of my career, every day has been a new day. Every day has been a new problem, and every day has been a new challenges that we get to face. And that's the best part about this role, that no 2 days are safe. Every day brings you the new challenge, new opportunities to solve problems. Okay. So that's about my journey. I've done my engineering from College of Engineering, Pune back in 2013. And then I have done my MBA from Indian Institute of Foreign Trade, New Delhi. So that's about me. Now let's get on with the topic. Okay, the last decade has been a transformational decade, right? If you remember, the cost of storage of data, right? That is the biggest influencing factor in this particular field. The cost of storage of data has reduced very significantly. Do you remember your first phone? In your home, did you had this phone called as Nokia 1100? By any chance? Probably the first mobile phone that we had in our homes was this phone called as Nokia 1100. Did anyone use it, or did anyone play this snake game in that? Guys, you can use the chat box to say yes or a no. Yeah, we all had this particular phone called as Nokia 1100, right? Do you remember what was the memory size in that phone by any chance? By any chance, do you remember what was the memory size that we had in that particular phone? 5 MB, 250 MB? No, pretty high. It was just 512 KB. Can you imagine? It was just 512 KB. If you are playing that game Snake and you have your SMSs full, or if you had your contact list full, you will have to delete it to play that particular game, right? So that was the day when we were having like 512 KB in our phone. What's the memory size in your phone currently? I'm sure it is not less than 128 GB, isn't it? The current phone that you are owning, I'm pretty sure it is near about 128 GB, right? So in this period of the time, from 512 KB, that is 0.5 MB, till 128 GB, we have come the long way. And look at the prices, right? The price of that particular phone was 7,000 rupees. If you can, in 2005, if you adjust it to inflation, that is about 20,000 rupees of today's value. And the price of this 128 GB phone, if you take, some of the Redmi's, Realme, those kind of phone, you'll find it at 10,000 rupees, isn't it? That phone was costing 7,000, which is equivalent of about 20,000 rupees of current price, 512 KB. And today we are having 128 GB with just rupees 10,000. So what has happened to the cost of storage? If you look at this example, has it increased or decreased? If you were to compare this to scenario, what has happened to cost of storage? Is it kind of increasing or is it kind of decreasing? Anyone? It is decreasing, right? And if you look at the cloud, right, there is something called as cloud that has emerged. If you want to have like 100 or 200 or 1 TB data on Google Cloud, it costs you how much? 100 rupees, 200 rupees a month. If you want like a 100 GB data on cloud, how much does it cost? Just 100 rupees. Could you imagine spending like, or having a space like 100 GB for 100 rupees some 15 years back. Was it possible? No, right? And this is the chart that is explaining that, right? It used to cost about $1 million in 1980 to store 1 GB of data. And now it costs in cents. It's not even in dollars, it costs in cents to store 1 GB of data. Now, why is this important? Because if you are talking about the world of data, if the data cannot be stored, or if it is extremely costly to store the data, do you think the companies would invest in it? If it was extremely costly, for example, if it was like $1 million to store a particular data, 1 GB of data, do you think the companies would have invested in storing the data at the first place? No, right? It would have been, they would have overshoot the cost. They wouldn't have made any profits, and all their money would have gone where? In just storing the data, right? Because of this change, mostly you can attribute this to the rise of semiconductor industry. And because of the semiconductors, the large amount of data can be stored at a very low cost. And because of that, today we are at a space where it costs almost nothing to store the data. Now, we talked about the example of a phone where we had 512 KB to 128 GB. Now, imagine, let's say you are working with some of the big companies. For them, if it used to cost them, let's say about $1 million before, now it costs them about some $1,000. That's it, isn't it? Now, because of this, what do you think? Will they store almost every data, or do you think they'll be choosy about which data they have to store? If the cost of storage is becoming so low, it is so low, do you think they will even think before deciding which data to store? Or do you think they would just store everything? What is happening currently around you? You can observe it, right? All the companies are storing all of your data. You go to Instagram, let's say you just after this class or during the class or whenever you decide to go to the Instagram, at the very moment, it starts capturing your data. When did you log in? At what time did you log in? How much time were you present? Which post did you like? Which post did you not like? Who did you follow? What did you save? What did you search? What kind of an ad did you click on? In one session of yours, tons and tons and information is getting captured and getting stored and saved because it costs very less amount of money to store the data. Are you getting this point? Like, why are the companies storing your data? It's because it's very cheap. If it becomes very expensive, probably that's the only way when the companies will stop storing all of your data. But I don't think that's going to happen. From here on, given the advances that we are making, the microchips that are coming into picture, this is further set to reduce. And in few years or in few days, probably you will find that it is even less costlier to store tons and tons of data at a very low cost. Okay, so one of the most important reason why the data has become mainstream is because the cost of storage has reduced drastically. Now, that's fine. The cost of storage has gone down. But what's happening on internet? Are we all on internet? Are we spending probably 3 to 4 hours a day on an average on internet? Don't you think so? Even though we don't want to, but we end up spending about 3 to 4 hours. We are traveling, we are on phone. We are in a meeting, we are on a phone. We are, whatever we are doing, like we are on bed, we'll be on phone. Every time, every moment, our phone is just like an extended organ to us. And because of that, what is happening? So many, so much amount of data is getting generated. You're going to Instagram, you're posting an image, that's the data for Instagram. You're going on LinkedIn, you are looking for some job post, the data is getting generated. You are going on Snapchat, you are maintaining a streak, it's a data that is getting generated. You are on the Zoom, this Zoom meeting that is happening. Again, tons and tons of amount of data is getting generated. So every second, this is a very amazing chart where every minute, the human, there are 5 billion people out of 8 billion people in the world. About 5 billion people are connected to internet. It's crazy amount of data, right? That is getting generated. And because it is very easy to store, it is easier, it is very less costlier to store the data. All of this information is getting saved somewhere. Understood this part? Like what do you think will happen? Are our devices getting smarter? If you remember, the only thing that was connected to the internet was your phone, then probably your computer. Today, everything around you probably is connected to internet. Your watch is connected to internet. Your TV is connected to internet. He has become smart. Um, Even there is an ad that was going on in the IPL where he has connected the tire to the internet. Like you can collect all the information. Your car has become like a machine which is all running on internet, isn't it? So every object around us is coming on internet. That is what IoT stands for, Internet of Things. Every other your tube light, uh, your tube light is again connected to a Wi-Fi. Your ACs are connected to the Wi-Fi. So this is the future that is happening. And as the number of devices, as the number of things that human uses are getting connected to the internet, what will happen to the data? Will it increase or will it decrease? What will happen to the amount of data that is getting generated? It will increase. It is not increasing at, let's say, a linear space, not like this. It is going like this, right? Which is in an exponential way. So the amount of data that is getting generated is exponentially increasing. The cost of storage is exponentially decreasing. What do you think happens to the people? Let's say you are storing tons and tons of images, right? You are going to a trip and you have clicked a lot of images, but you don't do anything about it. Was it worth it? You didn't do anything about it. You just clicked and that's it. You didn't post it on Instagram. You didn't post it on Facebook. You didn't share it with your friends. You just clicked and saved, and you probably didn't even go back to it. Is it of any use? Anyone? No, right? In this day, you have to put it on Instagram. That's the social pressure that everyone is in, right? So similarly, the companies are investing tons and tons of money to store all the data. They are getting amazing amount of the data, but what's the use if they can't use it? What's the point if they can't really use it? Isn't it? So that's what is the current state. This is the amount that is getting generated. This is the amount of data that is getting saved, but the usage is very low, right? They are not able to use your 100% of the data. They're probably able to use about 20% of the data that is they are generating. So still 80% till 2021, still 80% of the data is unused. The companies have stored all of your information. They have captured all of their information. It is saved on some cloud platform, but they are still not able to use it. Okay, why? Because you need professionals for this. Do you think, don't you think if the amount of data that is getting generated is increasing, the cost of storage is decreasing, you need more and more professional to work on this data, right? The number of professionals out there in the world are very less compared to what the demand is, right? There is a huge gap. There is a huge mismatch in the supply and demand of the data. This is the amount of data that is getting generated every year. This is 85 zettabytes per year is the amount of data that is getting generated. And the usable data, or the data that we can use, is just 20. Can you imagine, like, still three times more data can be used, but it is not being used? The only reason is that there are not enough professionals. There are not enough data scientists. There are not enough people who understand how to work on the data. And that is the reason why we are yet to see the whole power of it. And as we go along, we are trying to see everything, right? The chat GPT is nothing but a power of all the searches that were made by someone, and he has captured it, and then you can use it. So similarly, there is still a long way to go. If you are interested in this particular domain, please remember, still 3 times more the data is lying around and nobody is able to use it because there are not enough professionals in the world right now to make the use of it. Okay, so now let's say you want to be somebody who wants to make sure that we can take the benefit out of this mismatch that is there in the world. There is enough supply of data, but there is not enough supply of the people who can work on this particular data. Now, let's say you want to become a professional who is responsible for converting data to decision, right? The main use case of data is decision making, isn't it? let's imagine you were to purchase a phone, right? Do you buy directly? Like you will just go to the store and he gives you the phone and you buy him, or do you think you do some pre-work before you buy the phone? You will research online. No, you will research online. What kind of a research will you do? Compare. You will find the reviews. You will check the reviews. Absolutely. You will check the price. Very good, right? You will check the price. You will compare the reviews. You will compare. You will also set your budget so that it is within the price. You will also compare the brands, right? So that you know which brand you have to take. You will look at the configuration. Very nice. You will look at the different configuration. Now, just to buy a simple phone, you are doing this entire kind of research, isn't it? Just to buy a simple phone, you are doing this entire research. This is nothing but what? You are going to the data. Of course, this data is on Amazon, this data is on Google, this data is on Flipkart. Uh, yeah. You check camera. I was actually like, my camera is not working. Yeah, you check the camera configuration if that is more important. You check the storage space that is there. So you check different amount of information before even you make a simple decision to buy a phone. Now, do you think the companies who are running $1 billion businesses will take any decision without any research? Do you think the managers today are in a state where they can take any decision without the data, without any research? For research, you need data, isn't it? A very simple, if I have to give an example, a very simple decision like how many people we should have in our team, that is data driven. All of your current team, they will be analyzed. How much time are they spending? How much time they are on laptop? What is the kind of work they have done? And then they decide whether we should hire one person extra or not. A simple decision as like that, right? Do you need a person? Do you need an extra person? Even to make that particular decision, the companies are going to data. Let's say you want to launch a new product. Do you think the companies would launch a new product just based on, hey, you know what, this is looks cool, I'll launch it? Do you think that happens in that way, or do you think they'll do amazing amount of research before even they even decide on launching a product? Just for the phone, we did so much research. We saw the configuration, we saw the camera, we saw everything. So if you were to launch a new product and you don't want it to fail, you will again use data. So every point in company, every single day, every single point in the company nowadays is driven by data. The decision is driven by data. Why data? Why not the gut feeling? Why do you think, before 2005, the companies were running fine. They were all doing well. But why do you think nowadays every decision is kind of done research through a data? What makes decision through data better? Why did you do a research? If you didn't do the research and you went with the gut feeling, what would have happened? If let's say you don't look at the data for decision making for a phone, you don't do a research for making a decision for the phone, what will happen? Don't you think the chances of you buying a wrong phone will be higher if you don't do any research and just go to the store person, he finds that, there is the biggest margin on Oppo or Vivo phone, and he will give you that particular phone, which probably will have defects and is not really good, isn't it? So whenever you use data for decision making, the chances of you going wrong reduces. Okay, and that's what the companies try to do. They want to make sure that the that they are making correct decisions, or at least what decisions they are making, they should not go wrong, right? There is a fear, right? Like if a company makes one wrong decision, they can be out of business. There are many such examples around us. One bad business, one bad decision, and they are gone. Nokia, for example, they couldn't at that time understand the customer sentiments. They needed a smartphone. They thought there is no need of a smartphone. What happened to them? One time, every household in probably India who can afford an iPhone, who can afford a phone, had a Nokia phone. Today, we are not having a Nokia phone, isn't it? Because they were not able to make a right decision. What happened to companies like Kodak? Again, I remember when I went on my first trip in the childhood, the camera that I had was a Kodak camera with the roll in it. Today, is Kodak camera there, or are you using your iPhone for clicking photos or phones for clicking photos? They're gone, right? So this is what happens if the companies don't take the right decision. They can be out of business straight away. Many companies are there, like I can list thousands of them where everything was going fine. They were like the leader. Forget about that. There was this particular company called as BlackBerry. Anyone remembers BlackBerry phones? I think they were ahead of their times, right? They were ahead of their times. They had, just like we had WhatsApp, there was something called as BB Messenger. Amazing. Like in terms of technology, they are ahead. In terms of the need of the customer, they are ahead. But one fine day, WhatsApp comes, takes away their main feature, that is the BlackBerry Messenger, and they're out of business the next day. So if the companies don't rely on data for decision making, if the companies don't take decisions, and if the companies take wrong decision at the time, they can be out of business straight away, right? So that's why it becomes very, very important for each and every company to make a decision, to make a right decision. And the enabler for making a right decision is data, because you cannot go wrong with the data. You can't go wrong with what customers are saying about you. You can't go wrong with what is really happening in the environment. You can very easily find out the patterns which can lead to certain decision. And that is the reason why the companies are investing heavily in capturing all of your data so that they can make the best decision. And if they can make the best decision, they can survive in this particular market. Cool. So what is data science, right? It is nothing but, if I have to just define, it is a simple method where we measure, analyze, and predict the performance. Sports analytics, right? I'm sure everyone would have watched the IPL match till 2 o'clock in the night yesterday. And after probably every 2 balls, there is some stats that comes on the screen, isn't it? After every, they'll, the match was going on and they say, if if they attack Rashid Khan, their chances of increasing the match increases by some points, right? So every second on the cricket chart, on the cricket match, you are seeing some numbers being thrown to you. You see some statistics being thrown to you. There's something called as win predictor. Have you seen this? The only time when it has been very wrong was the Virat Kohli innings of against Pakistan, where it was 15 and 85 and nobody thought that it will happen, right? So that win predictor is what? It is trying to predict what will be the outcome of the match real time. It is based on data. It is not based on the current match data. It is based on the entire data of the 5 years, 10 years of the cricket matches been played. It has a data about all the stadiums. It has a data about all the players. It combines them and tries to give a number which can be closer to the actuals. Of course, it can go wrong. Somebody would play an innings like Virat Kohli does, and all your prediction can go wrong. That can happen in the business as well. But still, you have some numbers to look at instead of, just guessing it on blindly guessing it. Okay, so just imagine if the cricket match is empowering us with so much of data, what is happening in the businesses? Which product to buy? Which product should be sold in which store? Which product should have which color in the packaging? Which product should have what size? Everything is again, done using the data. Let me give you one very cool example. I was working with Walmart, and there, one of the predictions that we wanted to make, you wouldn't believe, is how many trucks do we need at a distribution center. So what happens is all the materials, all the goods that Walmart has ordered, the distributor or the manufacturer has to send it to a distribution center. Okay, now from that distribution center, those product goes to different store. Now what happens is, if I store it in the distribution center, it's a cost, isn't it? Like you'll have to load, unload, and then you'll have to store, and then again load, unload, and put it in the truck. So it's a long process, and the company didn't want it to have like a storage. They wanted, like, if one truck comes from the manufacturer, my truck should be ready, and I should be able to, just put that, that unloading should happen directly on that particular truck. Are you able to get the problem? I just want to know how many trucks are required, because I don't want to store all the materials in the go down or the warehouse. I just want to ensure that that material that is coming from the manufacturer or from the product person gets directly into my truck. Okay. Now the question that we got, the problem that we wanted to solve was, how many trucks are required in next 1 hour? Okay. How many trucks are required in next 1 hour? See, whenever we are doing any prediction, if we do it for a longer period of time, the chances of going wrong is higher, isn't it? Let's say if I ask you, what will happen 5 years down the line, right? This is a very typical question that the HR asks you. If somebody asks you this particular question, it will be very difficult for you to answer, isn't it? What you will be doing 5 years down the line, you don't know. Probably you would be traveling, probably you will be studying, probably you will be, you have no clue about what will happen in the 5 years. But if I ask you, what will you be doing in next 1 hour? Do you have the answer to that? Do you have the clarity on what will you be doing in the next 1 hour? What is the chances that you will not do that? Very less that you will deviate from that particular plan. So similarly, if I were to predict the sales for 3-4 years, I may be wrong. If I was in 2020 and this happened, right? I was just joined Airbnb, and we were doing the prediction for booking in in the first week of March. And in the third week of March, the prediction was that we'll make some 100 million bookings. And in the third week of March, because of COVID, the number of bookings was 0. Could any model predict that? Could anyone predict such kind of a situation? Right? Everything was going smooth in the world. Everyone was traveling. Suddenly COVID came and my bookings went to 0. So as the time frame increases, my prediction, if I'm trying to make a prediction, it can go wrong. But if I'm only having a time frame of 1 hour, will it be more accurate? Yes or no? Compared to, let's say, 5 years, it will be more accurate. So what we did was, I'm sure, do you all remember this equation that you would have done in your 8th standard? Y is equal to mx plus c. Do you all remember this word, this equation? Y is equal to mx plus c. Yeah. In the world of data science, it is called as linear regression, the straight line. So what we do is we try, let's say if the axis is having the number of trucks and the time is the axis, and I know at what point it is. And if I draw a straight line, can I predict the next number? Let's say I have the 3 dots and it is going through the straight line. And can I predict the next point then using that straight line? Yeah. So simple model like this, can you imagine? Y is equal to mx plus c is nothing but a linear regression, is what we implemented. And with what was accuracy? Around 87% accuracy, we could exactly tell to Walmart, hey, you know what? In next 1 hour, you need 10 trucks. In next 1 hour, you need 20 trucks. In next 1 hour, you need like 30 trucks. Because the time frame that we are looking at is very less. But just see the importance. You know how much money it saved to them? With just this simple y is equal to mx plus c model, which is a linear regression model, they were able to save about $100 million, because the truck that used to come from the supplier would be stationed there, and because it was stationed there, it was a cost. The truck that would be used by the Walmart to send it to the stores would come late by, let's say, 30 minutes, 40 minutes. There was a gap of 30 minutes, 40 minutes. And this 30 minutes, 40 minutes would cost them a lot. Just imagine at the scale they would work at. And if I could tell them, hey, you know what? Today in next 1 hour, you need 10 trucks. So the person who's managing the operation, he knows exactly what needs to be done, isn't it? So that is the main crux of how data is kind of enabling every decision in every company. At LinkedIn, I'll tell you one more example. The site goes through maintaining a website like LinkedIn is a huge cost, isn't it? There are about 800 million users, 800 million active users. And now if you are maintaining a website like LinkedIn with 800 million users, you need a lot of resources. You need your cloud to be the best. You need your servers to be the best. You need the memories to be the best so that it doesn't go down. And if the website starts going down, the trust goes, the competition will take away. And, in some days, LinkedIn can become like Orkut, if you all remember. It is very easy to, if you don't have a very good website, it again becomes very difficult to sustain. Now, what we try to do is every day, at the start of the day, we try to predict how many people will visit the website. Okay, every day, every single day, this is what we do. We are not making a model for one day. We are not making a model for 1 year. We are not making a model for 5 years. We are just trying to predict how many users will be logging in every day. Once we have that data, the engineering team allots the resources accordingly. Sometimes it may go off, something happens. For example, in Twitter, if there is some event like IPL happening, people are more interested in posting. Such events can happen. Such events can also happen in LinkedIn. So there is a buffer. But if I don't know this number, how many people will be visiting, or if I don't know this number at the start of the day, that how many people will be visiting, I could allot wrong amount of resources for the website. And if I allot the wrong amount of resources for the website could go down. If the website goes down, there's a high chance that you will not make the money, or the advertisers will go from your platform. So every single thing that happens around us nowadays is again based on data. It's all based on data science as a concept. All okay till here? Any questions, anyone? Okay. Now, what does a data science professional does? Why do we even need him? The first and the most important thing is he's removing the guesswork. He's removing that, I have a gut feeling kind of a thing. He's removing all the things that, I think so. You are coming to the fact. You're not thinking. You're not asking the managers to think. You're not asking him to take any gut-based decision. You're not asking him to make any guesswork. It is all based on facts. You're the person who brings the facts onto the table. You're the person who talks about the facts. You bring the facts onto the table. You tell them, hey, you know what? This is what is the thing. The quality. Let's say you're working in a retail store and you're observing the sales going down. There could be many factors. Your manager would think it is because of the customers, it is because of the staff. But if you analyze it properly and you see the return rates going high, it is because of the quality. So what you do is you bring the facts onto the table, you remove the guesswork. And if you remove the guesswork, what will happen to the correctness of the decision? Will it be more correct or will it be less correct? If you are having a fact-based decision making, what will it lead to? Correct decisions or incorrect decisions? It will lead to more correct decisions. And if you have more correct decisions, you will outperform your competitors. Right? So that is the main reason why we have a data scientist. The reason that we have him is to remove all of this guesswork. Again, customer insights. One of the most important work that probably everyone as a data scientist does. What is that the customer is likely to buy? When is he likely to buy? What color is he likely to purchase? Will he subscribe to my subscription or not? Will he resubscribe to my subscription or not? Will he purchase again or not? If you are on Swiggy, how many orders will you place? When will you place the order? What kind of an offer should I give you? Everything is based on data. And who does that? It's a data scientist who enables us to get this amazing insights about the customers. Okay. Nowadays, we talk about customer segments, means you try to divide your customers into group. These days, because of the data science and machine learning, this group size is now becoming one. Like one customer is one group. That is the kind of level that we have reached. So Ganesh is one customer. He's one group. He's very different from, first we used to bucket them. Let's say I'll bucket them by income, or I'll bucket them by age, or I'll bucket them by gender. Nowadays, it does not happen that way. Ganesh is Ganesh. So we'll have like n equal to 1 kind of a segment where we'll track his browsing history, we'll track his last purchases that he has made, the kind of product that he purchases. We'll track everything with respect to that particular person and give a recommendation very specific to him only. Okay, so that's the level that we have reached because of the data that is there. Okay, so that's the main thing. If I have to describe it in one word, what does a data science professional does? He removes the guesswork. He's a fact-based person. He talks facts. He gives you the facts on the table, and you try to make decisions on top of it. And if you're making a decision based on facts, you are more likely to be correct than incorrect. Okay. There are different aspects of data science. Descriptive analytics is one, diagnostic analytics is one, predictive analytics is one, prescriptive analytics is one. Let me try and explain you. Let's say the company managers just want to know what is happening. Let's say the CEO of the Uber wants to know what is happening in day-to-day business. That is descriptive analytics. If I have to give the example from cricket, the summary score that we see at the end of the match, who's the top batsman who took the wickets, who's the bowler who took the wickets, that is nothing but a descriptive statistic. You're just telling what is happening. Nothing. You're not giving him like what will happen. You are not telling him what had happened. You're just telling him about the current state, what is happening. Understood? That final scorecard that you would see after the end of the match, the summary of the match, that is more like a descriptive statistics, which tells us about, in short, what is happening. Then when you try to, the match gets over and you want to analyze where it went right, where it went wrong, there you will have the diagnostic analysis. So you'll find, they will analyze with power play, how many runs both the teams scored in the power play. They'll analyze which bowler balled where, right? What was his length? What was his line? What was his length? Where was he bowling? Were they giving some extras? All of that, like you're trying to, understand why that number happened, why that summary happened, is nothing but a diagnostic analysis. Now, let's say it's the middle of the match is not over, and you're trying to predict who will win the match. That is nothing but the predictive analytics. And finally, prescriptive, like you would have seen this, right? If Chennai scores 50 runs in the power play, their chances of increase, their chances of winning the match goes up by 5%. If let's say a spinner takes a wicket in the power play, the chances of winning the match for Gujarat Titans would increase to 70%. So that is nothing but a prescriptive analytics. So you are trying to give a breakdown, like what will happen if you do certain thing? What will happen if you are able to make this kind of a decision? That is nothing but a prescriptive analytics. And that is where the biggest, that is where it is the most difficult, but the most rewarding as well. If the captain knows exactly what needs to be done in the match with the data, he's going to do that, right? And that is what is happening. If you follow football, it is gone to the next level. If you follow in this basketball, again, it is all data driven these days. Even in cricket, this is happening. So if this is just an example in cricket, just imagine what is again happening in the world of in our industries right now. Okay, so these are the 4 kind of analysis that we have: descriptive, diagnostic, predictive, and prescriptive. Prescriptive is where you also give the recommendation and you say that, if you do this, this will happen. Prescriptive word comes from prescriptions, right? That is, the doctor gives us the prescription, means what? He's telling us to take some corrective actions. He's telling us to take some medicines. That is nothing but he's trying to tell us to do something. And that is nothing but a prescriptive analytics. In predictive analytics, you just tell what will happen. And in diagnostic, you tell why did it happen. And in descriptive, you tell what is happening. Understood these 4 things: descriptive, diagnostic, predictive, and prescriptive. Yeah, all right. Okay. Some of the things, no. What is your doubt? Do you have a specific question? All right. Now, no, for what? Did you understood? Do you want me to repeat anything? Okay. Now, what are the different things that we do? See, there are three kinds of data that is available for us, right? Structured data, unstructured data. What is structured data? Anyone? And structured data, as the word suggests, there is some structure to it. That means what? The tables that you see, right? I'm sure everyone would have used Microsoft Excel or Google Sheet. The data that is stored in a form of rows and columns is a structured data. Then we have another set of data. It is called as unstructured data. Now, what is unstructured data? Anything that is not in the form of rows and columns, that is nothing in the form of tables. So image data, text data, voice data, video data, will it be structured or will it be unstructured? Image, text, voice, and yeah. What do you think it will be? Image data, text data. Is it structured, unstructured? It is unstructured. So the biggest, the most important reason or the kind of information that is available for the value to be extracted is highest in unstructured data. See, you get the reviews, right? The reviews tells a lot compared to ratings. You know, when I was working with Airbnb, this was a typical problem we had. People are rating the stay as 5-star. Everyone is rating the stay as 5-star, but in the reviews they are writing that, you know what, the house was unclean, the lights were not working, the bathroom was not clean, right? They will give this kind of a reviews in the review section, that is in the text, but they will give rating as 5-star. So, you know, whenever we used to do the rating analysis, we would think, you know what, everything is going fine. But one fine day, there would be a huge escalation where the guest did not had a good experience. And we could have very easily understood that, you know, the property that he's staying on is not a good one, because the reviews where the person has written it has clearly mentioned about some of the problems that he had. Now, how can I identify this? I have tons and tons of reviews. Every second, every minute, anyone who's kind of checking out from the Airbnb is giving me the review. So to do that, we need to know something called as NLP, natural language processing. It is that method of data science where you can work on the text data. People post images. You are posting images on Instagram. You are posting images on let's say you had some problem with some items. You are trying to click the image and posting it. You want the machine to read it. For that, we have computer vision. There is a lot of voice data, right? Every time we make a call or every time somebody makes a call to the call center, we want to understand its performance. We have an unstructured data. So there is tons again, like this 3 segment I'm talking about in specific is because there is a long way to go here, right? We have just seen one example of ChatGPT, which has used the text data to come up with a beautiful product, but there is still image data that has been unexplored. There is still the voice data, which has been unexplored. And if you are looking for making some, career advances, would definitely recommend you to focus on in the data, just focus on this particular part of unstructured data, and specifically the image data, the text data, and the voice data. It is available in plenty, but it is again not been used as much as it should have been used in the current structure. So in case you're looking to make a career in this particular domain, think about how we can process the text data, how we can use the text data, and that can help you a lot in making a good career out of this particular domain. Great. Cool. Now, the last thing, what is the future? Let me ask you one simple question. 3 things that is driving this particular domain. Cost of storage, increase or decrease in future? Cost of storage, increase or decrease in future? Anyone? Decrease. Amount of data getting generated? Increase. Okay, now, previously, before 2012, the data was stored physically. Means what? Just imagine like a pen drive. If you have the pen drive, can you access the pen drive? Let's say your pen drive is in Bangalore and you are in Delhi. Can you access the data from the pen drive if you are in Delhi? No, right? This is what used to happen. The data was stored. IBM was the leader at that time, but that data was stored physically, and you had to be present in that particular location. You have to be present in, let's say, San Francisco. You have to be present in US to access that particular data. What happened after 2012? The three words came. That is, I'm sure some of you would have heard this: AWS, Azure, GCP. Has anyone heard any of these words? AWS, GCP, that is cloud, right? Now, what happened because of the cloud? You can access the data anywhere, right? You can access the data anywhere, anytime, in any amount, isn't it? If you have stored anything on your Google Cloud, can you access it from US? Can you access it from New Zealand? Can you access it from anywhere in the world where you have the internet? Isn't it? So that has changed. Now, if that changed, what happened is, see, this kind of jobs were there in US. US is always the leader. But the problem was the data was only in US, so you have to be there, right? Now, after 2012, because of this cloud emergence, anyone can access data from anywhere. Now, let's say the salary of a person in US, a normal median salary for a person in US is 100K, whereas it is 20K in India, $20K in India. Where would the company would invest, 100K or 20K? What is more beneficial for the companies? To give 100K or to give like 20K? It is to give like 20K, right? Now, what happened? If ever you are in Bangalore, there is a road called as Outer Ring Road. If you start from that Outer Ring Road and go to the end, you will find all the top companies in US, Fortune 500 or S&P 500 companies in that particular road. Can you imagine, like in a decade, every company started to set up a base in India especially for data and data science, because you can access the data from anywhere. And if I can access data from anywhere, given the cost complications that we have, the cost advantages that we have in India, the companies moved all of their entire analytics base in India. At Airbnb, I was the first person to get hired. Airbnb never had an analyst in India. They started with, I was like their first analyst. When I left that organization, we had 50 people, 50 analysts only working on Airbnb data. Similarly, Walmart employs around 16,000 data professionals in the Bangalore center. There is this company called as H&M. I'm sure some of you must be like crazy about that particular company. They have set up a base in Bangalore. Why is that happening? Because of this difference of 120, right? If you can get the work done in 20K, why would you want to give like 100K? And because of the cloud, if you can access data from anywhere, that is the reason why you will find like tons and tons of jobs coming to India. One, because of the cost advantage. Second, because of the because of the cloud, because we can access data anywhere. And third, the future is very secure. The data is going to increase. The cost of storage is going to decrease. The amount of data that will be stored is going to be massive. And if every company wants to utilize this particular data, they have to invest in the professionals to get it done. Okay, so this is the reason why this particular field is kind of booming, and every single decision nowadays is made by data science. And one more thing, what do you think? Is data scientist required only in one particular industry? Do you think it is only in tech? Or do you think it is in automobile also? It is in marketing, it is in banking, it is in what else we have? In every field, there was one of our client was an energy company. The Shell was one of our clients. So just imagine, they are making oil and we call data as a new oil. So even the oil companies are kind of requiring a data scientist. So data scientist is only particularly a field where it is required in all the fields, isn't it? All the fields: banking, FMCG, the retail, the tech, the travel, everywhere. Second, do you think inside the company a data scientist is only required in, let's say, just marketing department, or do you think it is required in all departments like finance, operations, supply chain? What do you think? All the departments, or just one department is required? All the departments. Now, can you combine the two? Can you find out any such other field which is required in all the domains, which is required in all the fields, and which is required in all the departments of the company? Is there any other such field that you can think of? If you are a civil engineer, you will be around the construction. If you are a mechanical engineer, you will be around the mechanical part of automobiles. If you are a electrical engineer, you will be around electrical appliances, electrical, and probably electronics. If you are in electronics, you are into electronics manufacturing. But if you are in data science, you can be anywhere. You can be in any field. Take example of, for example, I was in retail for 4 years. I was in travel for 2 years, and now I'm in tech for last 2 years. Does it matter in which field I'm in? Because I know how to work on data. The field doesn't matter. The department doesn't matter. The core skill set is to learn how to work on data, how to make decisions out of data. And once you have that skills, it does not matter which field, which department. And because this particular jobs or this particular domain is present across all the fields and all the department, the amount of jobs out there, will it be low or will it be high compared to any other domain? It will be very, very high. And that's why you will see like a good amount of salary being offered. Still, like the graph that I told you, 3x the data is still lying around, not been used. So there is still a lot of scope. There is amazing amount of text data and the image data, which has not been explored right now, which needs a lot of more exploration. So all the things are leading to a very positive direction. And if you really want to make a great career in this particular domain, it's one of the most amazing fields to be in. So yeah, that's all I had to talk about. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to take it up from here.
Okay, so before we go to the questions, I'd like to thank you for the presentation. It has been insightful and knowledgeable as well. So thank you so much for crediting your time, of course. And yes, sir, we have certain questions in here. So with your permission, can I take them up?
Yeah.
Okay. So this question came from Radha Sharma, and it says, isn't breaching of security? Okay, isn't it a breaching of security by capturing data of people?
Yeah, so that is where the companies have to be ethical, right? And we know that it's all about data ethics. When you learn about data science, you will also be learning about the ethics in the data. And yeah, it's one of the biggest challenges, but we can't, like, it's upon the companies to decide like what is right and what is not right.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you. So we have another question coming from Ishani Hilal, and it says, is there any harm that can happen to human race by capturing the data? I think it's pretty.
Okay, this is again the same thing,
Yeah.
but you can look at from the two ways. If you're looking to buy a phone and Instagram is giving you the recommendation of the phone, that's a good thing. But on the downside could be like, let's say you are somebody's going through some diseases and you don't want that to happen and that things to repeat, that becomes very painful. So again, like I said, it is up to the companies to decide this, what kind of ethics standards they have to place. At LinkedIn, we keep it very high. We try and not use a lot of data which is very personal. So yeah, but again, it's upon the companies to decide that.
Okay. Sir, thank you again. And now we have another question, sir. It is from Viraha Sharma, and she wants to know, is there any difference between data science and data analytics?
Okay, pretty awesome question. So both of them does the same thing, data to decision. Both are driving, they are going from point A to B is the same, data to decision. The difference is data scientist is more expected to work on unstructured data. The unstructured data is like the text data, the image data. He's more expected to work on that. Second, there's a concept called as sample data and the population data. You will find data analyst working on a population data, and here he need not know statistics that much in detail. So if you are a data analyst, you have to work on a population data, and the skill set of the statistics required is okay, normal. But if you are a data scientist, you work on something called as the sample data, right? So when you try to compare whether the sample data is part of the population, and when you do that, you need to have knowledge about the advanced statistics. So the two major difference that I have observed in both the roles is structured, unstructured, sample, and population. That's it.
Okay, sir. Sir, we have another question from Kritesh Kumar. And it says, is there any way someone can learn data science and not belong to CS or math background?
Absolutely anyone can. The only prerequisite is that they should love numbers. And second is that they should not fear maths. If both of the ticks are there, anyone can learn data science. I've
But
seen a person who was into a restaurant business. He was into how do I explain? He was like in hotel management he was in, and then he learned about the data science, and now he's in JW Marriott as a data scientist in the same organization that he used to work at. So the only two checks that you need to ask yourself is, do you love numbers? Yes, go for it. If you do not fear maths, go for it.
okay, so I hope, Kritesh, that you've got the answer that you wanted. Answer with this, we have our last question. And it says, what are, okay, I think you've answered this question, but again, we have to take that out. So what are those basic quality one must have to be a data scientist?
uh, you should be like the Daya of CID. Yeah, you should be very investigative in nature. And you should have a very good communication skill, because you have to explain why you are thinking. And obviously from the tech standpoint, you should be very good with technologies like SQL, Excel, Tableau, Python. And from the business perspective, you should have a good business sense. With the time you try to get the business sense, it is very difficult to learn. But yes, you can learn these 4 technologies. These are transferable skills. And investing in nature is something that should come to you very naturally.
So it was the question for of Kanas. So Kanas, I hope that you got the answer of the question that you wanted. All you need to have is the eye for detail, and you can just watch CID maybe to gain that particular aspect of it. Okay, sir, with this, okay, I would now ask anyone, if you have any other question, you can directly post in Q&A box, so you can have a chat with our expert as well with the question that you have. If you do not have, then I'll ask permission from the experts here to wrap this webinar up. So
these questions were coming in Zoom or somewhere else? I didn't
no, so
see them.
they came in like from attendee, I mean participants who've registered. So they
Okay.
came in from there, yeah. So I believe, sir, there are no more questions. I think people have understood what you were trying to say, what you're trying to tell us. So with this, I'd like to thank you, sir, for joining in, for giving your time. And Shamni, sir, also, I'd like to thank you, sir, for being here, for introducing us. And Ganesh also thanking the experts here. So yeah, sir, with this, I'd like to thank you all the participants as well for coming in here, for joining us, and for giving your questions, and for being so patient for this long hour now. Also, I just want to tell to all the attendees that if you have missed any part of this webinar, you can directly watch it on either our site, that is lpu.in, or this will be uploaded on YouTube as well. So you can simply check our page, that is LPU Admissions Webinar, and there you can find this particular webinar. Okay. And sir, again, thanking you. And with this, I take leave from all the attendees, of course. And until next webinar, stay safe and stay healthy. And thank you so much for joining in.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.